What's up, guys? So you want to check the stream over there, make sure we're good, make sure we have sound, you guys. Go on, let me see. Right here, okay. A little bit to your feet. Scoot it. We gotta be together, Bone it. What's up, everyone? Every fight ends up on the ground. But every fight starts standing up.
Most
start standing up, and most end up on the ground.
No, most start standing up.
And most end up on the ground.
And most end up on the ground. We don't want to be too absolute.
There can't be any absolutes, because someone will hammer us for it. But this is just a simple reality, right? Jiu-jitsu is world famous because of the fact that once we end up on the ground with you, you're like a fish out of water. We're going to burn your energy. We're going to waste your resources. We're going to take your attack attempt, turn it into our submission attempt, and you don't even know why you lost. UFC 1, 2, 3, 4. That's basically what put Gracie Jiu-Jitsu on the map. However, there is an entire side.
UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
120, 130, 140, 221, 222.
It still continues.
And it's beautiful. Because Jiu-Jitsu has never been growing so fast, largely thanks to the fact that it's used every weekend, non-corona weekends, every single weekend in every single fight. And it's so beautiful. But there is a beautiful standing curriculum of Jiu-Jitsu techniques that are often overlooked or not practiced, or they don't really have a home sometimes. And a lot of Jiu-Jitsu practitioners today don't even know them because they didn't learn Jiu-Jitsu as a form of self-defense. They learned Jiu-Jitsu as a sport. And
those of you that train at a certified training center, you don't know anything but the recognition of those very important standing techniques. So it's great to be able to share some of those with you right now and kind of go deeper in that realm.
And know this, when you come to Torrance, when your day comes, right, you're learning, you're training, when you come to Torrance 3 years from now, 7 years from now, 10, 11 years from now, to test for your black belt, this right here is something that we are going to rigorously test to make sure that you speak this dialect of Jiu-Jitsu. Because being a good grappler, being a tough grappler, man, it's great. It's a great skill. But in our opinion, if you don't understand the standing self-defense aspect of Jiu-Jitsu, you don't really understand all of Jiu-Jitsu. You understand half of it. And our grandfather and his brother Carlos, the idea, the philosophy, and the reason why this was so important was because understanding that a fight was going to start standing up, in one way or another, someone was going to have to grab you, hold you, attack you, throw a punch, push, grab, bear hug. Something was going to have to happen in order for you to defend yourself. Now, you might defend yourself, and that might turn into a grappling match after that, a fight on the ground. Or you might throw someone, knock them out, or disengage and get out of the fight. That's fine. But to think that, man, someone attacks you, you have to go to the ground and get into a grappling match in order to win, that's what you want to avoid. You want to know that you can end a fight, defend yourself, without having to shoot a double leg takedown and grapple them on the ground. It would be nice to respond to any attack, standing attack indicator, without thinking, I got to go to the ground. Am I right?
Yes, and even your ability to communicate with somebody. Because how many fights can be avoided? How many street fights that have happened over the last 10 years could have been avoided? I feel like the majority of them. And those fights kind of, something happens, usually standing.
Yes.
There's usually a conversation, there's an energy, there might even be a touch, and how you behave and how you carry yourself in this standing, I guess, distance,
yes,
or in this standing position will read.
Yes.
So your ability to defend these standing attacks will kind of be seen in the confidence as to how you stand and how you communicate to somebody.
Love that. It's officer presence.
So if you don't know what to do if somebody headlocks you, or throws a punch when you're standing and talking to them, or grabs your wrist, or pushes you, of course you're going to behave so much more fear-driven, which is going to lead you to wanting to ambush them, take them down, and take them to where you feel comfortable.
Right.
So having comfort standing will allow you to finish the fight standing, and most often without even touching the person.
That's a great point. That's a great point. It's almost like, yeah, you can't talk to someone confidently if the only comfort you have is down there.
No, you want to get down there.
Because you're not comfortable here.
No, of course not.
That's it. So people who overreact and people who exaggerate and people who get all wired up when someone comes up and encroaches on there or says them or cuts them off in traffic, it's because they're fearful, right? And if your only comfort is on the ground, then your fear exists everywhere else. And if you're standing and talking to someone and you know that until the fight goes to the ground, you have no comfort, you're gonna behave that way, and that's gonna read as fear and uncertainty, and that's not gonna help prevent fights, right? Fear does not prevent fights. Confidence does. Officer presence.
And once you lose comfort and control, then you move into the lizard brain.
Oh,
what we talked about.
The lizard brain, you guys.
Right?
The amygdala. Prefrontal cortex is the conscious decision-making rational part of your brain where if-then equations can be calculated and deployed. If I do this, he'll do that, and you can remain in a regular, effective decision-making state.
Which is only possible
if
you have tools that give you confidence and they give you answers for the most likely attacks. So therefore, even though you don't know what's going to happen, you are somewhat in control because you have discussed the most common attacks that can happen.
And he said the word control. The key detail, and then we have the prefrontal cortex, right? And then we have the amygdala. The amygdala is your lizard brain. It's your old brain. It's the part of your brain that gets very emotional and fight or flight or freeze, and it just responds like a lizard. It doesn't have any rational thinking. To keep yourself operating in your prefrontal cortex, you need, this is the key requirement to remain in the PFC activation mode. You need there must be a perception of control. Now, this could be actual control, or at least you believe you have control, right? That's why you see some people with confidence, because they believe they're in control of a situation, but sometimes it's false confidence because they actually aren't in control. That's still perceived control. They're still in their PFC. In order for you to maintain your PFC activation and not get hijacked by the amygdala, the lizard brain, and act all crazy and wild, in order to maintain that, you must have a perception of control. And that perception of control is enhanced by the practicing of techniques.
By your understanding.
By your understanding and the belief that no matter how he touches me, I feel safe and capable of handling that. All right? Great. So what we'd like to do today is give you guys a demonstration of as many of those techniques as we have time for, and not with the objective of teaching you every single detail. Because you're going to learn those in the Master Cycle, BBS 1, Blue Belt Stripe 2, Blue Belt Stripe 3, Blue Belt Stripe 4. It's all in that curriculum, dispersed throughout the standing chapters. And you'll see them at your CTCs in the Master Cycle in due time. However, giving you guys a complete demonstration of this is beautiful because it's going to allow you to say, wow, really every possible way someone can grab you or hold you, there's a technique for. And that's really encouraging. Make sure my foot doesn't hit this. There's a technique for, and that's very encouraging. So how do you categorize the groups of self-defense techniques in your mind? Like what's the chapters in terms of how the whole curriculum standing up?
I guess there would be front attacks, right? Somebody's in front of you, facing you, grabbing you, striking you, pushing you, pulling your arm, hugging around your waist. So all things that happen from the front. And then there would be rear attacks, bear hugging you from behind, grabbing around your neck, grabbing your throat. And then we could do weapons.
Weapons, you have gun, you have blunt object, stick and clubs, and then you have bladed objects, right? Knife, edge weapons that you can defend against as well. So those are 3 categories there in one larger category. Then you have wall defenses also. Someone has you pinned up against a surface, right? Mm-hmm. So a wall, they're strangling you, choking you, pinning you. So this is the general, right? Front, back, weapons, and walls are generally the category, and that all, of course, you know, on top of this idea of de-escalation verbally, which Hito was talking about, which is so important. Distance and de-escalation can help you avoid having to ever use any one of these, but on the other hand, knowing these techniques is what allows you to have distance and de-escalation with your prefrontal cortex well activated and your calm, rational mindset.
Got it. So only once you have these skills will you then have the confidence to speak to the person in the manner that allows you to de-escalate the situation.
And never have to use these skills.
Yes. So what, so in terms of...
So where should we start? With the skills then, or the de-escalation? Because they can't even de-escalate without the skills.
They already know skills. They're all students.
That's true.
They have skills. So it's cool if we kind of go back and forth on techniques that we appreciate. You do one, I do one.
Yes.
Kind of alternating. And how do you feel about them also throwing in if they have questions on certain attacks?
Yes, please ask you guys. So if you
Certain
have any
standing-
questions, Evander's on the mic over there. He'll chop them up. He'll interject them when they're necessary. But any self-defensive techniques that you think that either aren't addressed in the curriculum or you'd like to see us demonstrate that we forget, you can let us know. But we're going to run through the program slowly, just so you can get a real visual. We'll narrate the attack and only the most brief details of the defenses, so you can kind of say, oh, snapshot, snapshot. We've never done this complete demo anywhere on video for the internet. I don't think.
How complex is it going to be?
I mean,
You said this complete demo? Like, what does that mean?
I want to do all of them. Let's see what we have time for. If you do all of them, how long should it take with no talking?
If you do all of them, no
No
time,
talking.
how many is it? 90?
Yeah, give or take.
80? It's 80 techniques, no talking. I don't know, 7 minutes?
There you go. So, add some talking, 15 minutes. Cool. So, we typically will
We had to choose. Either we do everything, just do it to entertain, which I don't think they want that.
No, they don't want that. They want to understand.
Correct. So
It's
then you
subtleties.
talk about something for 4 minutes, 3 minutes, you discuss it.
Okay, let's talk about front chokes.
Okay.
Okay, so the attacker grabs you by the throat.
It
Both
almost
hands.
seems silly. Do people even do this? Standing, strangle you? The
Yeah.
answer is absolutely. Now, this is not something that I can even fathom someone doing to me because of my size.
Yeah, true.
And because of my, who knows, my youth. So many reasons why I don't see somebody grabbing my neck. But there are people that,
grab people's necks.
grab people especially who are smaller.
Yeah.
And they can see that as a way of like just dominating them. And someone who grabs you by your throat like this, they're not afraid of your strike. Like you grabbing my throat doesn't quite make sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Meaning me, somebody my size.
It has to be someone who I feel that even if they punch me in the face, it would have no effect on me.
And that goes for many of the front attacks.
Yes.
Right? Even me grabbing his jacket right here and doing this
Nobody grabs you like this who is afraid of your punch. It won't happen. So that's important to keep that in mind, is that these attacks, many of them are by someone much larger, and we have to be ready for that. So when it comes to the choke, we have two primary defenses, all of which are based on the fact that he tightens up his neck, and check it out. Boom. Duck under, usually he holds his whole body against my two thumbs. And then there's another one where he holds my arm and he shoots up to the top. Look. Okay, where it falls into a hip throw.
So why would you do that one over
Depends on the
the
desired
duck?
outcome.
And that's the reason why, I guess, get the person to the ground. But it's probably, we probably would suggest that if somebody much smaller is being choked by somebody much stronger,
Escape
just
is a victory.
slip away and get away.
Escape is a victory.
And the question is how the confidence to be able to just simply step and duck comes from your understanding that when somebody's squeezing your neck like this, it's not like you have 1 second. You have 4, 5, 6 seconds. And when you tighten up your neck muscles, you have 6, 7, 8 seconds. And how much time does it take for him to take one step and then bend at the waist and duck? And can I stop him? Can I stop you?
Nope.
Why not?
Two thumbs against my entire body.
So you have time and you have your whole body.
I believe.
It's
There's no rush.
It's almost impossible.
It's almost comedic that he's grabbing my neck. I go, oh really? That's what you're gonna do? And I'm gonna slip right on out.
Yes.
But if you don't know this move, look, you're squeezing, they're like this. Pass out. It's not comedic if you don't know the answer. Same as the mount, trap and roll, same as any headlock. If you don't know the solution, it's life or death. If you know a basic escape, it's like, oh really? This is so silly. You're so cute. And then for the hip throw, you can do it from this side now so they can see more of the
I
function.
want to do that one more time. It's so basic that there could be people out there who strong neck. So stepping his foot back, bending at the waist, and ducking to the side of the leg that stepped back. Now, when you step back here, he moves away. He's ready for who knows
He's coming
what.
at me.
I might come in throwing punches out of frustration that he slipped out of my choke, and then he closed the distance. Another technique. Now back to the throw. Hold securely the person's arm here or here. My arm comes through as I kind of hug the neck. I pull him over me as I bend my knees, and we do a hip throw. So this can also be done if somebody's pinning you against the wall. And on that note, we might as well go to the wall right here. So one more time here. So holding the arm, stepping, arm reaching through. Now this arm reaching through, there is a clearance of my neck. I don't want to simply put my arm through and stay here. He's still choking me. So
Well,
pulling,
that's because you're reaching straight up is why it's working. Look at this.
pulling down on this, reaching up and knocking his hand completely off my neck so that I'm not being choked once I step on the inside. Now, as for being pinned against the wall, because you showed, Henner showed, right? If you don't know what to do, you're going to be backing up and moving, but eventually you could move into a wall. And once you hit the wall, the hands shift from going around my neck to being more in front of my neck because the wall is on your team.
Yes, I'm pinning against the wall.
Now I'm here, I'm stuck on the wall. So I cannot simply duck because there's too much hand in the front.
Yeah,
So
my hands went from here to here.
From here, I reach back and I feel his fingers. And then I find one finger secure the wrist. And now as I glue this to my chest, I take this finger down. Completely, right, in the opposite direction, dislocate this finger. Once that happens, he's probably already crying. And now from this grip, I'm gonna kind of use my shoulders and clear his arm and then move out and get away, break away. Your turn?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my back towards you guys.
So he's being pinned to the wall. All his fingers reach back and feel all of my fingers. Once he finds one, he grabs it, he inverts the grip. Look how he's holding it. Sometimes you want to hold it the other way, like that. Not the same leverage here. And then straight down.
And he's still choking me with both hands, but his finger's broken. And now I shoulder twist, arm drag, and get off the wall. Okay? And then
this is the one, strong neck.
if they're doing the same choke against the wall with one hand, I'm driving heat on in all my pressure, right? So instead of pinning him against the wall behind him here with two, I'm doing with one. Watch, he just simply redirects it. Boom, and I fall into it.
Elbow strike or wrap his neck to a front headlock, front guillotine.
So if I'm putting all my weight, I fall into it pretty assertively because there's a wall and I'm leaning on it and I lose my balance once he clears it out of the way.
Now, both that technique right there and the detail, where after you break the finger, the shoulder turn.
I see.
Because his hand on my neck right here, rotate one hand. See, me using this is just to get my arm over the top of his arm. But if I simply turn my shoulders, you see that? There's no way his hand's gonna stay on my neck. My shoulder can push his wrist off my neck and therefore protect my neck. Good?
Yes.
What else?
Chokes, collar grabs. So someone grabbing your shirt, your lapel, your collar here with an attitude. There's many variations. This is one kind of standard grip here. There's one where their hand twists up this way, twisted. There are a higher grip where they're closer to your throat right here. There is inverted grip where their hands facing down. There is two-handed grips closed, two-handed grips wide. So there's several variations on how someone can grab you. And like Hito mentioned earlier, anyone who grabs you with one or two hands from the front, they're not afraid of getting punched in the face by you. They have zero fear. So it's an important kind of thing to recognize when they grab you here, that if they're not scared of getting punched in your face by you, then maybe not punch them in the face is a good idea. I don't know.
Now, for every one of these grips that somebody grabs you in, you could theoretically grab them back and kind of just tie up with them and now make it a standing, grabbing entanglement. You could do that. And that's kind of what happens often when we train jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
He might grab me in many different grips, and I grab him back. Now, that kind of takes me in the direction of continuing this fight and continuing to be entangled with this person. When he grabs like this, let's say he's grabbing here and he's kind of pulling me, and I go here, and I take this step. Now I'm behind him, controlling this, lifting this wrist. Turn facing me a little bit.
Can't.
And now from here I can crank the arm further, I can push away, I can disengage, I can jump on his back, and that way the fight now begins and I have a position of advantage where I'm behind you. So a simple technique right here, one-handed collar grab. He's not even grabbing my collar, he's holding my shirt, my jacket. I secure his wrist, I hit his elbow, and I step my foot all simultaneously. And I do this at the time where I feel pretty much whenever I want, but the best time to do it is when he's kind of pulling me in towards him. I step. And now my elbow's wedged over my hip, I pivot my foot, and I go behind him. Again, holding the wrist with a thumb full grip, keeping this elbow under my control, lifting this. You already feel that?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. So I'm here holding.
Yeah, and in actuality, right, you don't want to grab one at a time, right? So even though you can do, for practice, grab the wrist, step and go, turn and step, head close, pushing down and pulling away on this one. In actuality, like you don't say it, everything makes contact at the same time. Beautiful technique. If you ever feel difficulty coming through on that one, do that again. If I feel like I'm not going to be able to get through or the arm's pulled in a little tighter, there's also this one here where you roll and break their wrist. Look at his wrist.
So the person now holds and they bring you, they go from kind of like an extended moving you around to this. It's almost like I'm collapsing my own wrist. I'm trying to.
Yes. So
So
it's very much
bringing you in. They're telling you what they choose how they lose.
they choose how they lose. So on this one, it's almost like I chop right at his wrist for real, but I chop and roll his wrist, but at the same time I hit his elbow the other way to facilitate the
So
bending.
it's almost like he's putting a little bit of weight. Because if you don't, let's say you don't do this and you only hit this, the hand, because there's no weight on my fist, when you put a little weight here now hit it collapses this much easier.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So the simultaneous
So
hit.
bringing it in, it helps bring it in. And then once I do, my hand comes off his wrist and goes into 2-on-1.
Both his elbows are tight.
Because his arm is stuck in my pec, armpit area. And then I just twist a little bit this way. As I pull this in, I do this little twist because his wrist does that. So you're folding that wrist right inside. And not to be confused with if you get again, and he twists his wrist fully, palm up, like they have the shirt up in your face here. This is going to be hard to do that wrist chop, and it's going to be hard to step through because of his arm is so deeply bent. But he really is giving you something else right here, which is this. Okay, where I twist here, and then I step outside, boom. And there's a little wrist lock that turns the wrist to the outside. But this is, again, very targeted based on the twist of that wrist.
This is probably one of the most dangerous.
Yeah, that's why I
In terms of, that's why what?
my wrist is hurt. So look, 2-on-1, palm control.
Did you say your shoulder was hurt?
No, this is more hurt. So right here,
Earlier when I was shoulder locking you?
separately. Yeah,
Haven't you been resting these
I'm
last
allowed
2
to have
months?
2 injuries, you know?
Yeah, but you've been 2
Yeah,
months.
but
and
I've been
what you been doing?
20 years.
You
guys.
fighting people?
Carrying babies. Look, so when he twists right here, I'm gonna make a heart.
So
So he goes in.
it's important that when I grab and I turn, when he makes that heart and he leans, I very much lean with him to accommodate the strain on my wrist.
Yeah, and when you guys practice this one with each other, you don't have to actually break their wrist, and you don't have to even throw them down. I'm gonna let go of his wrist. So
That's
I'll do
just
this.
for this one, don't break their wrist.
Boom, I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna hold. I lean to the side. I loosen up. Don't let me fall. I just do like this. Boom.
Oh, he let go.
Yeah, I let go of the grip after on the trick. It's very weird to throw. Very dangerous to throw someone's full body off the compromisation of a single wrist. It's just very painful. So I don't want to put his wrist through that. Great.
Let's go to some bear hugs.
Yes.
I think we don't have to do every front grab.
I agree.
You're getting excited.
I
You want to
agree.
run through all of them?
I'm trying to go through everything.
But now I think about, another very common is this. Someone just grabbing around your waist and controlling. And here's the first understanding. Is this the read? Because we're talking to the person.
Hey, what's up, man?
So understanding that this frame right here, I'm turning it so you can see, but I make a frame and I grab my own wrist. And this now, the more he insists on reaching around my waist, go ahead, hug around my waist, you see? Look at my waist, look at my hip. My hips are back and my frame is locked. My frame is straight. So very early, as the person's reaching,
Oh, I gotta fix my knee.
he's already framing.
Stepping back with the opposite foot, friends. So whatever frame goes out, opposite foot steps back. When you frame, you grab your own wrist with a C-clamp, not a monkey grip, and you don't grab the hand. You grab the actual wrist. So the bone structure remains intact, and you don't have to use too much strength. And you really want to back your hips away and kind of curl your upper torso a little bit, not be like this. Grab my waist. You don't want to look like this. Look at my body. When he comes in, go again. It's very much here. Following. If he leans down to the side a little bit, my frame follows him. Look. Back up. Frame follow. Follow. And then from here we have options, but really we're just going to look to disengage, protect ourselves, and get out when the opportunity arises.
That is before they lock hands around your waist. They might even lock hands around your waist, and you can still make the frame. I make my base, and then my back hand comes in, and the frame goes here. As I engage my arms, my hips back up a little bit. Sometimes the person, you can't quite, hold me again, I can't quite insert my frame, so my hand can now push here on their chin, and then my second hand confirms that, and I extend. And if the chin is not available, you put the heel of your hand right here, right in their nose. So there's always something to create a little leverage to kind of pry their head back and create space and force them to let go of the
And this
weight.
is all if they come under the arms. If I go under the arms, he don't get to attack my neck and face, right? If I go over the arms, It's another possible attack where they want to just fold you back and maybe take you down or control you here while their friends come and punch you in the face or in the back of the head. So this is another problem. Over the arm bear hug right here.
As if the problem's not already enough.
What? The bear hug
Someone
myself?
just simply bear hug you. They gotta have friends coming to punch you in the face and kick you in the back of the head.
10-4. So as I can watch what he does.
Hold me.
Can't. I'm trying.
So my knees are bent, my hips drop a little bit. My hands on his hips and my elbows inside my hips. So now my arms create this almost like this wedge between us where he cannot close the distance.
Look at that. He's such a nice little 2x4 right there, and this is not going to close. And if I can't close our hips, I can't fold Hidon's torso.
This happened because when he grabbed me, watch my hips. I back my hips up and I feel the space. Now from here, I keep my hand the side that I'm facing, my arm stays here. As I drop my shoulder, I move to the side. Now controlling him here, I step, step, step. Now again, this is me throwing you. Might not even be the route that it takes. If I just simply keep you from folding me back,
And duck your head out.
and then I slip away and now I create distance, that's also victory. Hold me again. Here, my hips back up. Fold me, fold me, fold me. Now let go of me to attack. There, boom.
Yeah, I see it.
And now I'm here. So again,
Neutralize
I didn't fall down.
Well, it's just stopping progress is what it is. You don't got to beat the person up. You don't even have to throw them. You have to neutralize their desired outcome.
Yes.
So, and one thing's common in all of these that they're not seeing very much is the camera, is the base.
What do you mean the camera?
Let me see if
You can't see my feet?
Let me see if you can see your feet.
Of course you can see
Can
my
you guys
feet.
see his feet or no? Oh yeah, they can. Great. So you guys can see his feet this whole time. Hidon's base. Everything is base. Everything is strong, stable. No matter what the technique, collar grab, headlocks, bear hugs, pushing, pulling, it's always stable. And the base is not something that is rigid and fixed. Base is something that is strong, but it's dynamic, that as you move and as someone moves you, your feet are going to move underneath you, but you're just always centered in your balance.
Well, that's it. That dynamic nature, the flexibility is the strength. Right? So it's not strong and fixed, because strong and fixed would be weak.
Right.
So strong and dynamic, it's the new strong. The flexibility is the strength. Imagine, right? You fix yourself and someone begins to move you, but you can't move your feet, you're gonna fall over. But a small adjustment makes it that much harder to be pushed to the ground. So one more time, you got over my arms. Hips are back.
Nice wedge. Just take his time. He's not trying to go anywhere. He's just trying to stop my full.
Maybe you let go of me, let go of me.
Nice.
You see that? And then I make it my clinch. Because if once you can't fold me, your grips almost feel pointless.
I feel you.
What are you gonna do next is the question.
Nothing. And if I try to let go even for a second, you're gonna get deep on that clinch. Love that.
Great. So it's probably the most, right, on the ground and standing. There's 17, 18, 20. Give us more confidence in the 3 or 4 that we're probably gonna need in most cases.
So this is question.
There was a loss of connection. Maybe you lost 30 seconds of talking because the internet was out for a moment.
Are we back?
Yes.
Headlocks.
So let's go back. Check it out, you guys. Headlock. Someone sneaks up. Right away, Hidon controls my arm. So I have a headlock. He's going to use both of his hands to control my opposite arm, which would like to punch him in the face. But now, because he's not addressing this arm, he's only addressing the striking arm, I can't do that. Very frustrating for me. Look at his base. He's stable. I can't throw him around, and I can't hit him in the face. So what can I do? I don't know.
You could probably let go of my head.
I love it. Let's go back to the actual. So now he'll show you one of the potential pathways to finish this after he negates me for a little while. Okay, go from there. Watch what he's gonna do. Boom, boom.
Check me again.
He can't. See, solid base. He's very low. He's controlling my punching arm, and now watch what he does. Boom. Duck out. He's good to go.
And there's even, I could have also had my leg grabbing the headlock. Pull me forward.
Can't.
I could have had my leg already kind of splitting his legs, hip already forward, already taking away his ability to collapse my posture. And now look at, I'm also blocking.
I can't bend forward right now because his hip is right behind mine and his foot's between my legs. So he's arching me back a little bit, really preventing me from getting down with his headlock. And let's control the back arm. Look what he's doing, man. If you reach around, grab my bicep, and his other hand is grabbing my wrist. Look at how solid right there. Beautiful. And now I can't do anything. I feel stuck. I feel trapped.
So from here, once I feel I have a solid grip on his arm back there, I grab his wrist, take a small step back as I look up, creates the space For me to now step the leg is in between his legs back, and then my head ducks out. And notice how I keep his wrist glued to my chest throughout the duck.
Look at this, it's still glued. Now I can't disconnect it, and that's how he's able to compromise my shoulder and drive it straight up. Number one mistake possible, I would agree, right, is to slip the head out and just connect it fully.
Yeah.
So people do this pretty good, then they get to here, they grab the wrist, take it off your head. They just do this. And now I go like this, whoop, and I rip it away. So he don't have to open the door and then duck out, but it never leaves his chest, right? Imagine trying to trap a lizard in midair running around, or a bird, versus trapping that bird and connecting it to a surface and having that counter pressure to hold it. So he don't trapping my wrist and gluing it to his chest is keeping the bird glued to his chest.
It's making it my wrist.
Yeah, it makes him much more capable of getting it behind my back, which is his goal before I rip it away. So he's here. Watch his outside step and his chest opening a little.
Here. So nothing too big. Small. Oh, chest is open. Thumb full grip on the wrist.
Beautiful. And then combatives, you guys have already learned if they hit you in the same headlock, but instead of punching, they grab with two hands and they get down low right here. That's when he just kind of braces my knee. All of you have seen this one. Set up, step, and sit. And over we go. Modified mount. And then he ends up here. Boom. And then from here, frame, arm lock, finish, you're good to go. So that headlock is when they bend down. That's the most classic one. Punch is also common, but we taught in combatives basics this one. Because it's so likely to happen when they just jump on your neck, especially if you're going to clinch someone like Hito mentioned. They're going to grab on out of desperation and get low, and you can take their headlock, and with proper momentum, proper technique, you can take it to the ground and end up in the advantageous position because you understand how to turn the tables there. If you don't respond to that headlock correctly, chances are they're going to keep it, we're going to dive down together, you're going to lose it. Okay, so headlock's very common. You want to show one of the step back spread base variation?
Yes, you can do that.
So look, if he tries to do that Gracie combative standing headlock defense, where he tries to come around the front, but every time he does, I open my stance, and I keep him from stepping around. Watch what he does with his hand. Grabs there, set up step, set up step, and watch him shoot straight through. Boom. Right there. So he took me backwards. Very good technique when the person has wide base, and they don't let you sneak around the corner. Set up, drop, throw him to the side.
Yeah, when you bring somebody to the ground who has you in a headlock, you take away their ability to kind of throw you around and control you by your neck.
You just said something interesting.
You kind of take control.
Well, whoever controls the descent controls the headlock. If I go like this, boom, and I just drive him down, that's my headlock now. Now he has to escape my ground headlock. But if he don't, while caught in the headlock, controls our descent, he takes us to the ground, then it's his headlock. That's so beautiful. And the same is true for guillotines. Let's talk about guillotines, which are kind of the cousin of the headlock. Instead of grabbing from the side like this, boom. If I grab him from the front like this, okay, this is a different situation. Gracie combatives, he grabs the wrist, he hugs the shoulder, and look, once again, what does he do? He controls the descent. By him laying me down, he end up here, and now he comes in with a nice frame, makes me release, and then ends up into a top position. But he took me down safely on that. If that's not possible, or the person's more bent over, look, they wrap your neck here, and they're holding you in a bent over position, and he can't hug my shoulder. Watch what he does. He braces the knee, sits down, boom, throws me on my face, straight down.
So when we say throws me on my face, it means that the person won't roll how he just rolled. Right? It's when somebody grabs you.
I can show him real quick.
Yes.
So you can do the same move?
I was gonna even just showing it by yourself. How the reason why he falls forward so quickly is because he's grabbing kind of hunched over the person. It's not so much with the intention of doing the guillotine. It's just hanging here. And now when that happens, I'm in no position to stop myself from falling forward. And I'm so committed to his neck because from fear I hold tight. And when he goes, other side's better.
Yes.
Here. So he does his step forward, he squats, and as he sits, freeze. Today I step, I let go, and I roll. But people who would keep this, they end up like this. Boom! He lets it like that.
To make it dramatic.
Okay, the point is, you see how this, you can probably kill someone. This is crazy. And this will head right into the floor, knocked out, unconscious. So it's the kind of move that before you practice this, you want to make sure the person that's being the bad guy understands how to step,
post roll,
put their hand down, and how to, you have to let go of the guillotine, look away, and then roll over your shoulder for safety.
front headlock, front guillotine defense.
Let's go to the back.
Yeah, let's do it.
Go to the back.
Or punch, sucker punch.
Sucker punch. Yeah, which kind of ties into verbal de-escalation.
Right.
Because you're in that range.
We can talk about it.
So we can go verbal. Again, all the grabs. They've just been around for so long. This kind of stuff, right? Somebody like grabs my shoulder right here.
What's up, man?
Right, this kind of energy. Why would I grab and start grappling him when instead, pulling in, I can make base, and then I can control his arm and apply a little pressure on his shoulder.
Standing Americana arm lock from a shoulder grab. If you don't know it, you don't know it. If you know it, you're good to go. And then if you do the exact same thing with their arm straight when he does it, look. If your arm stays straight, he puts his leg up, look, and breaks my elbow that way. So my arm is locked. I can't escape it. It's stuck.
His arm is locked, and with my control, I can use my body right here and go.
And hyperextend the elbow, fully break the elbow backwards. But only if you understand how to use it, right? Because yeah, any alternative, they grab you like this, you're probably going to do what? You're probably just going to try to tackle them.
Or
Whether
fight the hand off.
fight the hand. You don't want the hand off. You want the hand on. Someone grabs you, it's a gift. The same way, if someone grabs you from the mount, you don't take the hand off. That would be amateur. You spin for the arm. So why would you take the hand off on the ground or on the standing if you wouldn't take it off on the ground? There's no need. So, but in terms of de-escalation, the first thing to me is distance. Distance and then de-escalate from a distance, right? Because I would rather not have to use any of these grab defenses if I said, hey man, I just step back, put my hands up, talk to him from here. Nothing you can touch me with right now. There's nothing you can touch, no kick, no strike, no nothing. When you're talking from right here, listen man, I'm sorry you had a problem, I don't want any trouble. This is already a more compromised. He can respond quickly. Whoever acts more violently and with less consideration in this position will prevail. And chances are the person we're dealing with is more irrational, more emotional, and less technical and more fearful. So if anyone has the incentive to act, it's not going to be us who's calm and confident and comfortable in jiu-jitsu. It's the person who feels their world is coming to an end and they got to react violently and catch them off guard, which is why the bad guy oftentimes has the advantages. They don't have any respect, any rules of engagement. There are no rules other than they want to survive and beat you up. So you got to know that, and that as a result of that, your best friend is not being close when the fight hasn't started, it's distance, because now any surprises are not possible.
Yes. And remember, this person that is irrational, that's emotional, that is, running on the lizard brain, they don't want to fight. They do not want to fight you. I would say 98% of street fights that have ever happened, the person didn't want to fight at the core. They fought from a place of, I'm scared, so I'm fighting to defend my ego, let's say, in the moment. So we want to give them opportunities to not fight. But you have to be very careful about how you speak to somebody because your words can tip them over to feeling like they have to fight. So for example, if somebody is furious about how you took their parking spot, and they've been looking for a parking spot for the last 25, 30 minutes.
And you just happened to get it quick because you were in front of the line and you snuck in?
No, nothing. You cut them off.
Oh, you illegal?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but even if it wasn't though.
No.
You cut them off?
They were waiting for it. You didn't see them waiting for it.
Okay, fine.
And now you get out of your car like no big deal.
And
Hold on, careful.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
If it's too much charging in my face, then there's no time for talking and for de-escalating.
Hey, F you, man. You took my spot right now, man. Hey.
That was your spot?
Yes.
I'm gonna move my car.
All right,
I'm
man.
gonna move it.
Josh, all right.
Can I move it right now?
Yes, please.
No, I apologize.
All right.
I didn't know it was yours.
No,
Now I know.
I've been here for 30 minutes running in circles.
Now I know.
God, all these neighbors got to know about this.
So, you see how quickly? Now, naturally, you can imagine how I've also been looking for a spot for 7 minutes.
You were
7
pretty
minutes
chill,
is a
though.
long time.
Hey, he was pretty chill right now. When I was yelling at Hidon, he was pretty chill. His energy was not confrontational. It was, hey, we're waiting for this spot? All right. To understand, it was not a one of anger. Like, it's very interesting. When your default is, really? Okay, let me help you out. I got you. You see, you can have the spot, no problem.
And you were a little exaggerating.
I was, yeah, but that's if you took my spot, that's the handle you're going to get.
Now listen, so the point is that there's You can imagine how somebody in my position, I've been waiting for the spot, looking for a spot for 7 minutes.
Right.
I could no, I didn't see you.
Or it's every man for himself.
I can take your words as you're telling me that I'm wrong, or I did something wrong or bad, and I could take them in a way that doesn't allow me to hear what you're saying. And if that happens, then how do I respond to you?
Right.
I don't respond with, oh, I didn't know it was your spot. I respond with, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
Don't talk to me like that. And you know why you respond that way? People respond that way because people are, I want to say they're semi-oblivious to how quickly things can go bad. Like, hey man, don't talk to me. And they just like turn their face. You almost like you feel like since elementary school, or not elementary school because most of you are adults, so when you were in school, fighting was a little more allowed. But you almost feel like nobody fights anybody.
Sure. Yeah.
You don't have an idea as to how real things are. So therefore you respond with, hey man, I got a spot first. And you just kind of turn and now they ambush you. Boom! So that is obviously someone who is not in a self-defense mindset. A self-defense mindset is full attention to the person. Full, hey, so what are you saying?
Right.
You're saying it's your spot. You're really hearing the person because you know that we know what? We know one thing. We know that we don't know what is happening inside your world.
Yeah.
We have no idea. So what's the best strategy to neutralize all the pain, all the anger that is running out of you? And that is by slowing down, not simply ignoring. Because even me turning away and ignoring you, what is that telling you? That's disrespecting you.
Big time.
Potentially. Right? It's not hearing you. So it gives you a perfect opportunity to show me that I shouldn't disrespect you. Because, hey man, that's my spot, don't worry about it. And then we wonder why we have so many random YouTube videos of people getting beat up. Because both people do what?
Right, disrespect, step away, take their own position. So it ultimately boils down to, what's your bigger concern? Is your bigger concern to win a fight?
Or to be right?
Or to avoid a fight?
Well, yeah, to be right is to win a fight.
Okay, that's what I mean.
To win a fight and to be right is the same thing.
There you go. Is your bigger concern to be right and in that case necessarily win a fight? Or is your bigger concern to avoid a fight and there is no right and wrong between two people who don't know each other and will never see each other again? That's the hard part.
Yeah,
it's
well,
a big ego trip.
Correct.
Ego's and alcohol. Take that ego away, there is no fight.
The question is, what are you willing to do to avoid a fight?
What are you not willing to do to avoid a fight?
Nothing.
That's powerful. Except for someone else getting beat up or choked or hurt or someone.
Yeah, within reason. I'm willing to say anything, move anything.
Right.
To understand, talk to the manager. Okay, here, I'll pay for your meal. I'll pay for your sandwich. Because who knows what I did. My kid came over and interrupted your meal somehow. Anything can be done to avoid it.
And it should be. And it should be.
Okay. So back to that position now. The person now, you're in my face. Of course, you're a little bit further back. We're here. And I want to set a boundary.
Right.
Probably the starting point. Of course, assuming that you're talking from a place. And
hey, blah, blah, blah.
Hold on. If you're not moving towards me, come back where you were. I can just talk and say, hey, oh, that's your car? Let me move it for you.
Yeah.
Now, if you start to move towards me,
hey, man,
let's talk from right here. Let's talk from here. Let's talk from right here. So now I'm just putting my hands up and asking, let's talk from here. I want to hear you. What are you saying?
Right.
Now, you might not hear me saying,
I'm so pissed.
Let's talk from here. So hopefully you
hey, man, it's my spot, man.
Hopefully you see me saying, stay where you are.
Yes.
But if you don't hear me and you don't see me, you keep coming towards me, then hey, I see that's your spot. I want to talk to you. How can I help you? Now, my hands right now, it's very easy for these hands when I'm scared to become controlling hands of grabbing skin and grabbing the arm, which does what?
Intensify.
It makes him not even hear what I'm saying. He goes to only feeling.
How you touch me will determine how I feel.
Yes. So
listen, man, listen.
Hey.
It doesn't feel very intimidating.
It feels like
But I
nothing.
can't still move towards him. It's interesting because the hands feel effective, stopping me from getting closer, but there's no squeeze on my body right now. He's not
grabbing.
He's doing a very slight palm block from the front. What's the benefit of that palm block? From that base, go ahead. I can't move towards, he's like a brick right now. Wall. But I can pull a punch back, in which case you can either step in and block or go under and clinch it right there. Again.
Go over it.
No, as I pull this, head goes that way. Yeah, that's that easy one, remember?
Just close the distance.
Just close the distance and clinch the body, yeah. It's also a good one.
Even when placing your hands on their body, move back please, and you walk towards the, hey, let's talk from right here.
Yeah, what's
you,
up?
You keep walking.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, even if I do that, if I might not be grabbing you, but I create this little jolt, that also, that takes him over the top, where instead, walk, hey,
got his hands landed. I like.
they feel like clouds.
I feel like butterflies landing on the flower. It's so soft. That's really good. So, and the cool part about the angle that he's landing at is I can't do it and land. He's landing at an angle where I can't go directly to his face. I don't have direct. It's not. There's no easy direct shot. I have to disconnect, and then he can clinch over the arm, under the arm, and his head goes the other way. So because I have to go back first, it's a tell. But if we land right here and there's no hands, I don't have to go back and go boom, and I can just drive into something and make it a little more problematic for him. So that's why putting the hands is like, hey, what's up, man? I'm sorry. Yeah, I know there's no trouble. Pull the hand back, pull him back hard. Look at that. You can't come at me without going away from me first and telling me what you're gonna do. But soft hands, and again, this all presumes that there is this is a recoverable situation, right? This presumes that we actually want to recover and not have to fight this person, and that it is recoverable. But it's possible that he comes at you, put your hand on my bicep, yeah, what's up, man? Listen, you understand? It's just, the point is, like, it's possible they want nothing to be touched, and then you don't hesitate to clinch. So it's important that we balance this idea of distance management, assertiveness, with if we gotta get down, we're gonna get down.
And what do you think? Like, I feel like if it's somebody who is my size or smaller, I'm gonna go hands-on for sure. I feel like if it's somebody a little bit bigger, that I'm less likely to want to talk to them like this.
I see.
Because you have to be, now this might not apply for me so much, but it's almost, what would you suggest for somebody who's 5'9", 175 pounds, right? And there's someone your height.
Keep backing up. Say, hey, because the minute I get close enough where I can hit you, you gotta clinch me.
I understand. So my point is, you would suggest that if somebody our height, against someone who's 5'9", 175 pounds, a blue belt, you say, hey man,
They're down here, yeah.
Correct.
Hey sir, I want to talk to you. I need you to stay right there. Don't get any closer.
And I just keep getting closer. And
I keep backing up until I can't.
Well, hold on. You're gonna back up 25 feet.
I'm walking back, sir. I don't want any trouble.
That's what I just asked the question. If you to back up 25 feet. Let's say you're in an open area. 25 feet is back up.
If I can, yeah.
25 feet?
If it's an open grassy field and I want to fight, big boy, I'm gonna run.
Well, running is different.
I don't want to fight. I'm keeping
running
distance.
is different.
I'm just saying, not every fight has to be had. What do you guys think?
Not every fight has to be.
The guy's walking towards you. He has a hurt knee, big monster.
Run away.
He's walking like this. I want to fight you, little guy. You little blue belt. Come here. And he don't questioning. Well, when you back up, you're keeping distance. I don't want to fight you, big monster guy. I'm backing up. I'm backing up.
Nice.
At some point, do we just clinch him because we can and we're capable? Or if big boy has the broken knee, can't follow me, I'm out of here.
Now, even if the knee's not broken, if they're conservatively stalking you,
yes,
and you can keep creating space, because listen, all that walking back is telling them what?
You're scared.
It's telling them that you're scared. It's telling them that they are the almighty, that they're powerful, because you're walking away from them. And when you're walking back and you're saying things like, hey, I apologize, I made a mistake, you're the man, I won't do that again. When you talk like that, it does enough building of them that they don't have to necessarily fight you to feel superior. They just stalk you for 20 yards, 20 feet, and then they end up slowing down and then you leave. It's a good point. You can back up for 25
If you can avoid the fight, you should.
Yeah.
If you cannot, you don't.
Good. Are there any questions on any aggressions, attacks?
All the questions that are coming up, most of them are techniques that you guys will cover eventually. Now there's two questions that if you guys feel creative, I can share with you guys.
Techniques that will cover eventually? What do you mean?
Yeah, just like knives and guns and bear hugs and full Nelsons. But it's so many that it's...
Well, we haven't gone to the back yet. Maybe we should.
Yes. And what are the two that you're thinking also? To give us an idea?
One of them is...
These are your questions? Your requests?
dragging the person's belly down. That's one.
Dragging them belly down.
Yes. We cover belly up and they let you know belly down. And the other one is Sky Newton asked, and people backing up the question, is the person pinned on the wall, facing the wall. You know, someone's pinning you, facing the wall.
So very similar. Both of these, you're either on your belly or belly to the wall or belly to the ground.
So belly, so ground drag. Lay down real quick. Or sorry, I'll lay down. Grab my wrist right here, Hidon. We talk about being dragged on your back. This is a woman empowered technique that if he's dragging me, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna connect, and I'm gonna turn. Now I have stage 4. Boom, boom. We have options. The question is, if I'm on my belly, getting dragged.
Are you being dragged by your arm or your leg?
Or my hair. Ask Sky.
Well, the thing is that
Drag me, pull me that way.
it doesn't really feel good.
For real, pull me.
Hey.
The whole point of being dragged is you can't build a house.
Got it. So
If I'm on my belly being dragged, I'm gonna build a house. Even if I get dragged by both hands, I can still stand up. Go, pull me as far. Ugh. No one's gonna stop me from getting up if I'm on my head. It's the same way. Yeah. So now regarding being pinned against the wall, let's use this wall right here. Move this flower. Look, pinned against the wall, like just push my body against the wall, chest down. Yes. So it's the same thing here. You're not going to stop me from turning my shoulder. There's no stop. I can build the house. They're actually the same answer for two separate questions. That was awesome. Is that in both cases, sometimes people think of attacks only because
we haven't discussed it.
they're not in the curriculum. So, okay, got it. We can drag face up, we can drag face down. But they don't ask themselves, why isn't it in the curriculum? Because it isn't even, not to discredit the question, but the point is, it's not even, for example, hair grab. We do a lot of hair grab defenses.
Yes.
Do 2-on-1, do the arm lock. Look, hair grab defense, he don't have, break my arm. So then women say, oh my gosh, okay, what if you do the same move from the back? Well, hair has no directional priority. He can just turn and face me and do the exact same move. So hair pivots 360, there's no control on the pivot prevention. So hair grab from the back is the same as hair grab from the front. Drag on the ground, get up. Pin against the wall, belly down, turn and face, and you're in the clinch right there, then you have to disengage however seems appropriate.
So being pinned on your stomach, period, you can use your hands and legs too effectively. And you can do, it's almost like,
Yeah, if you can build the house.
it's almost like if I just pin down my kid, for example,
Yes.
my hand on their back, they're going to start turning towards me.
They're going to turn and
It's
get up
natural
and
to
face.
turn. When you're being pinned on your stomach, it's natural to turn. Even if I pin them to the wall, they're going to push up the wall and turn towards me.
Yes.
It's almost like we have this natural jiu-jitsu inside of us. Now, when you're being pinned to the ground and you don't have your limbs to help you,
Because you're on your back.
yes, now you do turn to your belly from fear of being punched.
Yes.
So there is still, but that's a turn from a place of,
Yeah, but good point. You turn to your belly with the same objective that you have when you get put on your belly, which is to build
Yeah.
the house or to push up.
correct, to stand up. So back to rear attacks. Somebody said full Nelson, which works really well.
Well, let's show first some rear attacks, then we'll do the full Nelson.
Rear attacks. Let's do the bear hug, choke from behind, pull back. So, here, actually, go back, I made a mistake. So here's how this works. When somebody wraps their arm around your neck, the movement is to take them forward. Or that is one option. There's also an option, if they wrap on your neck, it's a little bit deeper, to slip out and control their hips. Now, sometimes they might grab behind your neck and they off balance you. So now his hips and his leg have filled the space that my body needs to kind of take his center of gravity over me. Now, fortunately, when he touched my neck, I dropped into base and I grabbed his arm. And then, so I'm still safe because I have this, and I have a little bit of base. And from here, so I do a pivot, almost a 180, landing myself in a position where, look at, I hook and I pivot, freeze. Because of his attempt to off-balance me and my now repositioning, look where he is. He's very off-balance. Pull your arm out of here. See that? And now as I extend, rotate. As I extend this leg, my head goes down. Boom. Place him right here on the ground. Drop into side mount. Drop the knee on belly. Run away. You've got options. So this move right here, this is taught, right? Women empowered. And this is just in general. Co-ed classes, master cycle. It's probably one of my favorites. And it's difficult for people to understand the swiftness of that pivot, and sometimes people lack conviction. And we talk about this idea that my head wants to drive to his spine. So I put my foot here, pushing off this leg as I hang like maybe 60, 70% of my weight. My head, boom, drives to his spine, which gives me tremendous power. Even if he's holding his own wrist like this, rotate. There's so much weight here that when I turn, this hand of his either busts open or it goes anyways and it contributes to his feeling of being off balance. So hold tight right there. My body,
Yeah, it's too strong. Too much weight pivoting in a circle there.
so So the hanging of that move right there is probably the key detail.
So that's bear hug, that's choke from behind, standard pullback, and
Over.
shoulder slip.
Forward.
So then there's also the bear hugs from behind, there's over the arms, there's under the arms high, and there's full Nelson.
Correct. Let's do over the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, when you think about it, just talking to you guys right now, what do you think? Over or under? Over has a feeling of like
My homies are coming.
Yes, I'm trying to control the arms.
Got him.
Under has a feeling of trying to control my body.
Coming with me.
Like if I had to take my kids, like let's say
Time
away from the park, I'll go under the arms. Because over the arms.
But if you had to brush their teeth, you go over.
Yes. But if I go over, there's a little bit of slip. Right?
Yeah.
It's difficult to control.
Very hard to control.
And that's that natural jiu-jitsu. But that's also taught women empowered.
That's it. That's exactly the move right there. So there's two options for the over the arms. One is a more kind of assertive option where you're actually going to throw the person. So as I grab heat on it here, he drops from the base. He gets behind me, and then from this behind posture, you can throw the person over, straight down, and we get a. The other option is he just kind of starts to sit down and walk his feet out. Look.
So a little bit of base. As my feet walk forward, I lean on him a little bit, hold, turn, and now my legs are here.
It works very good because you can slide down. When someone gets you in a bear hug over the arms, you can drop straight down because there's nothing stopping you, right? There's no wedge keeping you up. This right here, if he just spreads his elbows and starts to melt a little bit, it's gonna go, look, there it is. Okay? That's over the arms. Under the arms, boom.
So under the arms, we drop and put our hands on the ground. Or not, right? The move traditionally was taught where when somebody grabs, I simply drop into base, take the foot, and pull the leg up. This is how my grandfather taught this move 30 years ago. But sometimes there is value in when the person grabs you, kind of grounding yourself. From here, start to move me, pull me around, I keep my base, and now I find. And as I walk my feet back, my hips apply pressure on his knee. As my hand keeps his ankle, he's unable to fall because he cannot step. Once again, boom. Hands and base. Find the ankle. Notice how I move a little bit to the side. Find the ankle, and now my feet walk back almost in a tripod. And here I am holding this now, applying a little pressure, or simply disengaging. Full Nelson.
It's not possible. For whoever asked about the full Nelson, in order to even catch it while standing, I need his elbows to flare or be soft. Loosen up.
So you need me to like...
I need you to be stretching at the beach. Now stretch at the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Hands up, yawning in the morning. Really excited about the morning. Got him.
Yeah.
Now he's here tight.
The best time is when it works, is when Eve used to like, remember she used to grab a chair, and then she'd go to hit somebody over the head with the chair,
In WWE.
and then
And now they got
you
this
get
wrestling
caught
hold.
here.
Now they got the wrestling hold.
That's
a
what
good
it is.
point. Yeah, someone has to have their hands up.
Don't use furniture to fight people, or you won't be exposed.
There should be no excuse as to why you should ever get caught in a full Nelson if you're not in the WWE throwing chairs at people, lifting them over your head. Because as I enter to try to establish that, literally like 3 pounds of pressure with heat on his elbows sticking in makes it impossible to go. Then he fights my hands a little bit, pull him down, starts to separate him. Look, gets inside, turns and face. My turn. So he starts to come under here, and like literally,
There's a bug in your head.
hey, look at that. I don't go with my hands. A little bit, the smallest amount, like even a joke right here. Hips down a little bit, start to fight the hands here, keep them apart, because I also don't want him to do this. So I would like to fight these down, lock your hands down, and then fight them apart. Like you're taking off your seatbelt, and then you turn, clinch, or disengage. Now, if someone actually does get inside, watch. Let's say my hands do get in on the actual full Nelson, and I lock them, boom. The first thing is to prevent the pressure from being effective. What does that mean? For preventing his head from going forward, go back, and his elbow. I want to do this. So that pressure is negated instantly.
What do you want to do?
Just kind of like a little neck crank. Okay. So he locks his hands together, and he keeps his head up. Now, as I try to activate the full Nelson, it drives into his own hands, which means I have no leverage to activate. Fully negates the pressure. But he doesn't escape with that. He actually is still under control. So to escape, watch what he does. He bends his knees, settles in, and then he turns me over the corner. Boom, and drops me straight down. And then you land on the person with their whole body.
Especially as they keep the full Nelson, it pulls me on top of him, knocking the wind out of him.
Yep.
You know what I was thinking too? Is handshakes. Right? Like very, very aggressive handshakes.
Very common.
Guy squeezing your hand, doesn't want to let go of your hand.
Very common, very concerning. So how do you deal with the aggressive handshake? Hey, what's up, what's up? That's one. That's two. Walk with me this way. Boom. I got him right here in a gooseneck. Look, wrist lock. So he don't grabbing. One option is you come under. There's a couple options. One is you come over, you pull this right into his thumb. You take the final joint here of his thumb. Let's go closer. Can you see here, Marco? So right here, I come over, grab his thumb nail, essentially, pulling the tip of his thumb straight in and break at the top joint. It's so painful that he lets go, one. The other one is you turn it a little, come under, grab the entire thumb, not just the top part, but you grab the first two parts of the thumb, and you pull it down, and you're actually opening this very assertively. So hold tighter. I come in and peel the whole thumb off and come straight out, and you can kind of give it a tug.
And with all of these, if there's a little bit of a tug even on my side, there's a step forward with Henner's outside foot, or maybe a little lowering of his head. You know, there's a consideration for base.
And distance for a strike.
And for distance
Boom,
for a
pulls
strike,
me into a
yes.
punch. But here, punch in the head is much less than the punch in the head that comes from right here, where he pulls me in and boom, cracks me in the jaw. So I'm here, boom. So a little tug, reach in and grab, reach over and grab, or if you want maximum control, I take my back arm and I go around and I hug, feeding his wrist right. He's gonna hold tight on my wrist. I'm gonna use that to bend it over, and then I come over and I hand off his knuckles right there. Okay, then I can go 2-on-1, head is still gonna be down, and I'm pulling Hidon's elbow right into the bicep pocket, and I have great pressure from there, or you can pass this by, take their back. But let me show you guys that one from the back side here. So Hidon's here. When I know it's too strong and I wanna go wrist lock, I'm gonna pull his arm a little, and go with my hand in his armpit hold this way. So I take my step, boom. And not only do I pull to insert, but after I do, I push it to trap it. I wanna get that nice deep bend so he can't extend his arm out of this very easily, right? Versus if I were to just keep it straight, it's kind of, you lose this. So pull, come around, and then tuck it in, and now you hand off the wrist. From there, turn and tuck, and then as I drive into my own area, I kind of hand it off. Like, imagine if he's holding a bar of soap, and then the soap just slips out of his hand, and I fuse that grip to slip into the wrist lock.
And go back real quick. You ever have difficulty when you hold this, come around again, rapid, collapsing my wrist? No, right? Because
I'm slapping this in as I fold it over. It's very hard to stop.
It's one and then two.
Versus thinking you're just gonna fold this wrist by itself, it's too strong. But the second you have a brother to help you chop, now as I slide, wax off, hand off the wrist, end up with that nice 2-on-1.
Move the top hand. Look where he's holding too. Like he's not holding here, right? There's no.
It's right on the knuckles.
It's like his middle knuckle of his middle finger over my middle finger, my middle knuckle. You don't even need two hands.
You don't even need two hands. You got great pressure here. Control, control, control.
Now, in the very beginning, you very briefly, when I was squeezing, Henner extended this hand right here, his finger. Right? There's something to be said about when you extend one finger, you almost kind of open up.
Well, you activate so many muscles in your forearm and your wrist and your hand that it really spreads the hand,
Because if everything is relaxed, it can kind of, all the bones can kind of be crushed together. But as you point one finger out, you tighten up, you activate the bones maybe.
Yeah, it's totally different.
So an extension of the finger.
One finger, point like a gun right here, he can squeeze tighter on my hand, it doesn't hurt as bad. But if I have this closed and he squeezes, it hurts. So this just gives some rigidity to your hand that will help prevent them from just squeezing through it. And that could buy you time to step around and scoop a thumb or scoop the wrist or get that nice standing wrist lock.
As a general rule, when you shake somebody's hand, mean business. Give a firm handshake. Good. Okay. Guns?
Gun.
No guns, no weapons.
Okay.
No weapons. Verbal de-escalation, rear attacks, headlocks. We did one headlock, two headlocks, pushing, pulling, this one right here. You can do takedowns. We can talk about clinching in terms of the follow-up base. We just discussed this the other day, how there's a follow-up base after a clinch entry.
Got it.
It's going to be a little difficult in terms of space for you guys to see, so we're going to do it in a very short distance. But when you decide to close the distance, let's say I have my hands up and I'm saying, hey, you know, I apologize, whatever, and this person attacks me. Boom. Once I enter, there's a good chance that they're going to want to recreate space to strike once again. So now let's move over here so you can retreat. And his creating space will be him moving back. So I hit. As he moves back, striking and moving, either A, I fully disengage, or B, I stay really close. But I want to stay close. So there's the follow-up energy.
Yeah, it's very persistent.
Follow-up energy. But how you move forward is not, you're not moving forward like this.
Right.
Like with your feet here, because you're off balance. So you hit your forearm, and then you go here, because
His lateral base is strong because his feet are not on a line. So it's easier to show it this way, right?
Yes.
Here, just stand right here. Show him how not to walk and walk on this
So
line.
once I
This way.
enter,
Just walk towards the camera on this line and show him how not to walk.
once I enter,
If I start backing up, walk on the line.
I don't want to walk following him.
You're off balance. So instead, someone hits. Boom! Watch his face.
I enter, I go hit.
So he's following, but he's laterally strong as much as he is forward persistent. This is very important, you guys, because too many times you practice the clinch in a very almost robotic fashion, where you keep distance, you got good calculation, they become aggressive, you step in, you hope to grab them, and you hope that they remain stationary once you enter, but that's not realistic. Once you enter, expect them to move and try to evade you, and at that point, man, you got to be tight in your base and your follow and your balance.
And when you are following them, it's sometimes they might even create a little bit of space.
Yes.
Let's say like a half a foot or a foot even.
They're running backwards.
But they're running backwards. It's very easy to feel like because they separated a little bit, bad things are coming. Meaning they're going to knock us out right now. But we have to trust that when they're running backwards, trying to create the perfect distance, they're not grounded in their stance.
Yeah.
So they're not as strong as you think they are. So you stay committed to the person even when you lose them a little bit. So let's say, for example, that I am, let us know if we, I don't know how much space we have. But as I enter, boom, he's moving away, moving away. Let's say he creates a little space. Now punch again. Boom.
Yeah, you're still coming.
You see, so, and I'm still coming and I'm still here. And I know, like,
Yeah.
for example, let's say my forearms hit, move away a little bit. Here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're still eyes on the target and you're moving forward.
I'm still eyes on the target.
Hands are up.
I'm trusting that his moving back, his strikes, those strikes in that situation are not strikes to knock me out. They're strikes to instill fear.
Yes.
To make me stop coming towards you.
Yeah, you have to plant your feet and you have to drive into the strike. If you're running on your heels and throwing arms, they're just flailing arms. It's the equivalent of standing on sand, right, where there's no foundation, or floating in water and trying to throw a punch. Running backwards and punching is like throwing a punch from floating in the water. You can punch, but you can't push. And if there's no push behind the punch, you're going to have limited power. So if they disengage slightly and they make a little bit of space, don't say, oh man, I lost them, let me reset and try this again. Because now they're going to reset. And now they're going to be able to pounce back in at you and they know your strategy. So when you decide to clinch, you need to follow. And when you follow, you need to not walk on a line so you don't get tipped either side. You have to walk very stable, hands up, open your base, and follow them more in a tractor-like stance, wide stance, so that you can not get tipped side to side and stay on target the whole time like a heat-seeking missile. And you don't break that path.
What you have to ask yourself is, does the person who's backing up want you to persist? Do they want you to keep moving towards them in base, forearms up? No.
What do they prefer?
They want you to stop. Okay.
It's a great
They
point.
want you to reset.
We don't think about this often enough, you guys. The person that we're charging into would prefer that you, as soon as you try to clinch and fail, boom, and I do this, I want you to stand there and I'm here now. Yes. Now what? You know, I want him to reset and reconsider and second guess his entry.
It's not to say that there are times where you don't want to persist.
Yeah.
Where good space is created and they have their good stance and you kind
Now
of...
it's time to draw him in.
Now you stop and you reset. And you enter wing. And when do I enter again? Not when I want.
Right.
You're standing there and I just want to grab
Yeah,
you. No, I stay here. And because you just lost the clinch, you can see how you might feel like, man, I gotta go do it again. But no, you once again you wait for them to give you the indicator, which is their attack. And this is where people who fight MMA, who represent jiu-jitsu, often make big mistakes because they fall into the pressure of having to exchange and then do jiu-jitsu versus barely exchange and then do jiu-jitsu only once the attack happens.
So how interesting. The two best times to grab someone are when they're running back on their heels or running forward for their attack. When they're here, settled in, hands up, and they're measuring your distance and they're waiting, that's the time you don't want to go. You'd much rather than start to attack and now boom, you grab them much easier.
Yes. So as for a drill for you guys to take, not only now, but as schools start to reopen again, which schools are reopening.
Yes, congratulations, Seoul, Korea. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Seoul.
I can't even believe it.
And Korea was hit pretty hard with the pandemic. They got their act together, they dialed it in, and now they opened today, which really was yesterday, but today, May 2nd is when they opened, and
it's beautiful.
Jason's
so
so stoked, yeah.
Schools are opening again, so once you're back in terms of like you putting your forearms on my chest, and then I'm gonna move away, and I'm using my forearms to kind of push him side to side. Maybe I create a little bit of space, and he follows. So games like that.
Circle, circle, touch, touch, circle. So I'm watching his hands, I'm following his stance here.
And clinch, and clinch. And remember, it's very easy for me to behave in a way to where I run back so fast and push so hard that I create space. And then it discourages you from even believing in this follow. But know that the person that is fighting you, the guy who works at Subway, he's not going to disengage with the same conviction that we will disengage with our training partners. He doesn't, he's just like moving back and punching and doesn't understand what's happening. So believe in that and be careful and build the person who you train with. It's a very important skill.
Your turn, hands up please, your turn. While Dylan's doing this, the main goal is to check his distance and to lateral check, right? So when I do my lateral checks, I'll use my forearm and I'll hit his shoulders to see if he's based laterally, if he's so tight, and then I go clinch, and then he wraps up, boom. So that's a cool game. The bad guy will hit, circle, 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 try to off balance him side to side, back up a little bit, change your angles, and make sure they're turning corners with you. That's the key, that they stay on their path. And that's only possible if their base is square and is very forward driving, but is not walking on that straight line. And then you're hitting their shoulders, trying to off balance them, clinch, and they go in and they boom. They lock you up right there, okay?
So almost every clinch, right? Almost every clinch that we do, even in combatives classes, can have 2-3 steps of follow.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't mean that sometimes they won't give so much weight that the clinch kind of just happens very easily.
Right.
But because we do overlook this sometimes, to begin to add, I do it often, and many of the guys at our school do, but to begin to add a little bit, now we keep distance, I throw a punch, you enter, and then I move back 2 steps, and then he clinches. Shit makes a huge...
It's better to practice it
very
that way.
important skill.
Always incorporating that. Now the question is, right, if the person's standing still, and we're not going to shoot in on them because they're planted, they're comfortable in their stance, what kind of things can we do to essentially spur movement that would then facilitate that clinch acquisition, whether it's spurring them to back up, or what can we do to make it to where when they overcommit, they have to come in harder and make it less comfortable for them to stay in that stance where they're just their ready stance and they're waiting for us to take action. What kind of smoke bomb can we throw to kind of throw them off a little bit so that they can't just wait, post it up for us to run in and then get the perfect shot?
I got a good one. You can just be here, so you're not moving.
I'm the aggressor, yes.
And then I just spit on you. Ugh. Is if I spit on him, how's he gonna feel?
I'm gonna attack you.
Right? It's unacceptable. So, because you might want the person to attack, so spitting is a good one.
Another one is piston.
Now the thing is that spitting might be a felony.
And some, oh god, spitting maybe
kind
a felony.
You spit on someone, it could be bad news.
Oh my gosh, Sam is pulling a gun on someone now. So his base is here, I'm in my stance. One thing Hidon can also do is a piston, offensive piston, defensive piston. Piston means kind of front kick that we use in jiu-jitsu. And you've seen Hoyas do it a lot of times in the early UFCs to spur movement and to get the person off balance, because the piston is beautiful because put your foot on my knee, look at the distance. Look at the distance. He can do this without being strikeable. That's why this is so nice as a distraction method versus a jab, which is also good, but it also puts you in the jabbing range. So Jab's got to be used a little more conservatively, especially against someone bigger, because you throw out a jab, and the person just goes, boom, and they just throw a punch over the top, it can land. So unless your hands are tight, your chin is down, you got to be careful with that. But anyway, so Hidon's here keeping your distance. When he's ready, if I'm just standing still, he's going to lift his front foot and come forward. Look, he jumped.
You want me to kick
Offensive zone, yes.
and kick and
sure,
clinch?
sure.
So touch,
Boom, boom, and he goes in right after. Let's do it again.
and that would be, I would be hitting your front knee.
The front knee, pop.
So
And then I'm backing up at that point because I don't want my knee to get buckled. And as I back up, that creates the back stepping that Hidon needs to be able to clinch confidently, using the same following, tractor base on the entry that we were using previously, but using it after backward movement that was initiated by your attack to their knee.
So
One more time, let's show them how we're doing that.
yes. So they're gonna practice it. You just want me to do it on you right here?
Yeah, I'll
Or
put
wanna
my hand down
actually-
low.
So here's how it works. That's the important element, is that the hand is not too high in the beginning, because make sure that you're warmed up to be able to even lift your leg. So the idea is that I'm here, my weight is a little bit more on my back foot. With my front foot being lighter now, I'm gonna lunge off my back leg. I lift this, and as I lift it, I sit up taller. There I go. So from zero, weight shifts, leg lifts. As the leg lifts, there's almost like a hop. Boom. I'm jumping off my back foot. My back foot lands, and then the front foot touches.
That's very important because if not, kick while your foot's still in the air. Go. Before your foot lands. That's what they do. Okay, this is very important. You
My
don't
first time doing
kick
that.
while you're in the air. It's very common. Two mistakes are very common. Back up a little. People will be in their stance. Put your hand right there for me. They'll do this. They'll make this adjustment step. They'll do this, and then they'll go and they'll do their thing. Number one.
That is a more accurate kick than the jumping in the air one.
Yes, the second is, yeah.
But
But by doing this, you're giving it away. I'm off balance right now. It's not nice. So instead, all you need to do is this. You just need to transfer your weight to that back leg, and then you can lift, and you can boom, and you can go. Now, the other mistake of the kicking in the air, that people jump, and before they land, they think it's a jumping kick. This is nothing fancy about what we're doing right now. It's just, I need to lift my leg, I need to get closer, and then I need to stomp on his knee so he backs up, and then I'm going to follow with my hands tight, so I don't get clipped on the way in. So you got to get closer. So the best drill to do, even solo, is you're standing in your stance, shift your weight to your back leg, and make your front leg light. As this leg comes off the ground, do a little hop, stomp, and down. Now I'm back in my stance. Lean back, lift this leg up, hop, stomp, boom, there's your kick. And I'm not throwing the kick out too hard or too high, but I'm still giving you the idea of how the weight transfer and that forward, boom, and I'm here. And every time we do that, boom, we're kicking his knee. And we're getting more and more comfortable getting that leg higher and higher as we go, boom, and then we're kicking out, hands up, follow, clinch, follow up right after. That's offensive. That's when the person is stationary and they're not attacking. Now, if you don't stand still,
which is probably not as necessary. This
Yeah.
offensive
if I'm
one.
standing still, you don't have to do anything.
Well, you just told me earlier that if you need to, you can walk back 25 feet.
True, if the guy's not coming at
And
you,
now
why are
you're
you fighting
showing
him?
the moves to kick the guy and
Hey,
finish him.
but they don't remember things from 5 minutes ago. 25 minutes ago, you guys forgot those moves. No, I'm
So-
kidding. He's right. The guy's just standing like, yeah, what's up, man? I want to fight you. And he's not doing anything. Why are you fighting him?
Now, someone
He's
like
not.
Hoist, for example, used it because,
He had to grab the guy.
well, no, he didn't even have to grab the guy. He could have also potentially just stood there too.
Right.
But when you have a certain level of experience in jiu-jitsu and a certain confidence, you say, you know what? It's been 2 minutes, 4 minutes. This guy's not gonna want to attack me. So he puts a little pressure to get to it. And he's, he is entertaining to some degree in UFC, beginning UFC.
Yeah.
It's entertainment, and he had to walk the fine line of entertaining, but still being true to jiu-jitsu. So he used these kicks to take the person away from their base to make the clinch entry even safer.
And there's another variation quickly here. He's in his stance, and if you're the defendant, I'm the attacker. So as I move towards Hidon, he can also lean back and kick right here. Boom! And keep distance, or at the very least, make me think about it. Because now, if I'm getting kicked every time I step in, if I'm getting poked by a solid kick on my knee, I'm getting kind of prodded that way. What does that tell me? I can't attack you conservatively. I have to overcommit. And when I overcommit to try to mitigate the chance of that knee buckle and that front bizone kick, that front kick, if I'm trying to mitigate that by overcommitting, I'm easier to grab. So imagine if someone's trying to clinch me, or let's say someone's trying to clinch me, and every time or I'm trying to clinch them, every time they try to punch me or reach for me, I poke them with a broomstick, like boom, and I keep the distance. And then I go boom, and I poke them. And I go boom, and I poke them with the broom. Every time they get close, they're getting hit. What do they think? I'm gonna clear this broomstick out of the way. I'm gonna attack 100%. And when they go that big, easy clinch, right? So the defensive Pizon, the only difference, he's not lunging, he's standing still, and he just, boom. As I go in, my hand is down, he just, boom. So as I step, so it's right here. Okay, but I put my hand right next to my knee, and I step in with that hand at the same height and the same distance. So he just has a good mark. So we're here, 2 arm length, I step in, boom, beautiful. So if that hits my knee, I'm not liking it. So now I overcommit, boom, boom, and he steps in, okay?
Yeah, this, when it comes to that kick, notice how I'm not kicking and kind of going here. I'm kicking and I'm staying.
Boom, yeah, very solid. And that can be at the knee, that can be in the body here, it can be a little higher, boom, you can feel it. Okay, so depending on your flexibility, you can go a little higher, with a little more angle there. So Pizon, great technique. It's the smoke bomb, boom, the flashbang. And they go, whoa, what the heck just happened? And then they got to deal with that coming in versus having no fear of any type of kick or strike of any kind. Then they can come in almost carelessly and just worry about you grabbing them. But when you start throwing the front kick and buckling their knee, which allows you to do a good strike from a safe distance, one of our grandfather's favorite strikes, you can do that because you're not going to be strikeable while you're still striking at them, and now they have to overcommit, and that's when you get the easiest possible clinch. So you want to keep poking the lion until the lion becomes so aggressive, and then you go, boom, lion killer, mata leon. I didn't wear the lion gi today.
Who is using?
I didn't wear my lion gi.
Who is using the Pizon? Does Conor McGregor use it a little bit? Who is
John
using?
Jones is very
John
good.
Jones using
Very
side.
good side kicks. Yeah, he kicks the knee, kicks the torso with it. He's very tall. So he throws it out there.
To keep distance.
Keep distance, and it makes you overcommit, get you emotional. He's always just pop, pop. He does it very good in MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Conor does it a little bit as well. But John Jones' front kick or side kick is very solid.
Keep your eye open for those.
Excellent. All right, we're wrapping up here, friends. So let's do this. We want to give you guys a gi, any gi you want. Okay, and you have 2 options. If you need a gi right now, you can
Last
log
time
in.
we did the gi also. We're gonna do gi again.
No, we did. Rash
Yeah,
guard.
we said. Oh, you can wait till the lion rash guard.
Rash guard.
Now you can wait till the lion.
You're
gi.
allowed to wait till the lion gi shows up. Mine's in the wash right now. You can wait for the lion gi, or you can order any gi we have in the store. Alavanca, Gracie, whatever we have right now, you can get. So you can enter right now. Put your name, your rank, and your CTC. Everyone's qualified to enter. Don't enter twice. And we're gonna choose a winner. And while we do, start firing right now. Everyone's gonna help us with that. And while we do, we also want to remind you guys that starting not this weekend, right? So tomorrow's Sunday, 1 more week, Mother's Day reminder. And then on that Monday after Mother's Day, we're going to start doing live Zoom 2-way lessons with our students from our Gracie University headquarters students here in Torrance. Now, whatever CTC you train at, we're encouraging them and preparing them and giving them a lot of material to be able to offer you guys the same thing. And these Zoom lessons are going to be designed that you can do with a partner or you can do with by yourself. The difference is we're going to be able to see you and you're going to be able to see your instructor, right? Whatever CTC you train at. It's going to be 2-way video so you guys can benefit from the movements, the techniques, and we've redesigned the entire curriculum to be completable solo. What does that mean? What are they going to get from this?
It means that we went through every single technique in Gracie Combatives, and which is the core. And from that core, we've gone through even other techniques outside of combatives, and we really gave a lot of thought to what are the micro movements, the small movements that we can teach you to enhance your understanding and your execution of a movement like taking the back from the mount or an elbow escape from the side mount. What can we train? And then what is the mindset? What are the discussions we can have around this technique to help prepare you for once you get back to training in the school, or if you get in a street fight? What are the things to consider in a street fight? We've talked a lot about even visualization.
Powerful.
There are some techniques that you just kind of sitting and visualizing that which we just discussed. It takes us a long way. It takes us very far. And just you seeing yourself successfully executing something from start to finish. So just a lot of time. And I myself, if I spend 30 minutes by myself, let's just say you're on a chair and we're talking about jiu-jitsu and you're watching me, I feel like because I believe so much in jiu-jitsu and I'm so creative, I can do 30 minutes by myself while you're on a chair and we're talking, and not only am I going to learn, but you're going to learn by watching me.
Right.
And that's what we want to create through Zoom, especially during this short window of time where we can't be on the mat together, to keep the connection and to keep the body moving in the jiu-jitsu way.
Powerful. And we know that most people may not have an at-home training partner to practice with. So all the lessons are designed for solo participation. If you have a partner, it's bonus. But they're designed for solo. And we're going to talk about the macro movements of jiu-jitsu, the micro movements, the mobility, enhancement and growth that we can make, the visualization, the mindset. So all these things that historically are neglected in regular group classes.
They're not neglected.
I think they are in many
No,
ways.
they're not neglected.
Because
They're
when you
just
come to
not
class,
hammered as
when you
hard.
come to class and it's like, all right, everyone get with the partner, straight arm lock from the
Go.
mount, do like this,
Correct.
step over and go. My point is we don't slice it that thin and get better at the individual little pieces that will make our macro execution of the techniques that much better. And we don't visualize, we don't sit down and have everyone close their eyes and do guided jiu-jitsu visualizations, which is what we're going to do through these classes. So we don't see this as a restriction. We don't see this as an inhibiting factor to our growth. We see this present state of things with this new mindset of how we're going to approach this on Zoom and with these two-way video. We're going to see you guys. We see this as an opportunity to grow in areas that we have neglected and have not really emphasized, I will say, as much. So when you come back to class, you're going to be that much better. And here's the best part. You're going to get actual class credit for the completion of the lessons, Master Cycle, Women Empowered, Gracie Combatives, Gracie Bully Proof. You're going to get actual attendance credit on your attendance card for classes completed because you're going to make so much growth through these two-way video conferencing
So
lessons.
what I'm thinking is this, is that, I've had many experiences over the last, before we close, the 2-3 months in the beginning of the year, where students were taught a technique. For example, in an advanced class, Master Cycle, they're taught a technique. And then they reach a little point where they have some difficulty with that technique. And they ask me, right now I'm getting a little caught with this, I'm having difficulty here. And then what do? I go and I do the move, and I find a small micro slice. What is a small practice, a small movement that I can do right now by myself or show them so that they can also do it by themselves, and then they can now learn that movement by themselves, that small movement, and then add it to pretty much complete and make possible the full execution of the move that they were having trouble in. So it's almost like those of you that have a little more time on the mat, a little more experience, they're the ones that are going to appreciate sooner these micro movements and these solo drills in terms of how they build muscle memory, right? How they enhance, right, these motor skills of ours that are necessary in jiu-jitsu. And those that are newer, meaning 2-3 months into jiu-jitsu, we're just telling you right now that there will be a time where really strengthening this small movement that is part of this big movement is time well spent. It's time, good investment of your time. So we look forward to playing that game with you guys. I'm going to be by myself on the mat speaking to whoever shows up, so I'm excited for that.
Love it. All right, let's talk to our winner of any gi he wants in the Gracie store right now or Lion Gi collection coming soon. It's Robert Pioche from our CTC in Peoria, Arizona. Congratulations, Robert. Talk to your instructor. It's Ty Best there. Just opened the school not too long ago, but Ty is doing a great job and built a great little team there just before they had to close down. So hopefully we get to put this gi to use once they get back open there, or on some of the Zoom lessons that Ty's going to be kicking into gear pretty soon here, based on the guidelines that we're sending him and all other certified instructors around the world to have the dopest solo completable classes in the history of jiu-jitsu. They're going to go down starting in about a week. So look forward to that. So all good, you guys. Congratulations, Robert. Thank you, guys. And have a safe week. Continue training, review these techniques, keep track of all your progress. Get back on the Gracie University standard curriculum. Make sure you guys are pushing through. Don't be lazy. Don't be waiting for just the live Zooms. The regular curriculum, all the lessons are in order. So you can make incredible progress. And we're going to give you credit for all those classes upon your return anyways. All right? Anything else?
We look forward to seeing you next week. And what are we going to do next week? What's the chapter?
Oh, it's a surprise chapter next weekend. It's a wild card seminar live super webinar. Don't miss it. Tell your friends, you guys. Thanks.
Surprise.